so much to everybody that watched my first Knitalong intro video and shared a small piece of excitement, left me a comment. I am pumped to get this next Knitalong started so soon here. So if you missed that video, definitely check it out. I cover a lot of ground, all the basics about what our Knitalong experience is about. I'm going to link to it below. All right, so envision yourself casting on new projects with excitement, finally leaning into those techniques that used to intimidate you and finishing them with the most satisfying sense of accomplishment. Instead of sitting in frustration when you hit a snag, you'd be supported by our coaches and your fellow knitters, celebrating your progress and helping you in real time. Imagine getting stopped in the grocery store. For me, it would be the coffee shop where I frequent, by strangers who are oohing and awing over your gorgeous hand knit sweater. Imagine the peace and contentment that comes from having a consistent making practice that fits seamlessly into your busy schedule, helping you unwind and find joy and creativity amidst the chaos of our day-to-day lives. Knitting becomes so much bigger than just a craft or a hobby. It's connection, creativity, and calm all rolled into one. This is the shift from feeling stuck and frustrated to feeling proud of what you've created. It's the shift from feeling like you're knitting alone, all by yourself, to being part of a supportive, joy-filled community. And from second-guessing your progress and your knitting skills to knitting with confidence and finishing more projects. It's all possible for you, and I can't wait to guide you and help you get there. So just in case you did miss that first video, my name is Amy Small, and I'm the founder of a business called Collage, where I design yarns and teach knitting and crochet online. Over the past 15 years, I've taught thousands of students everything from how to do the knit stitch to how to knit a complete sweater, and pretty much every technique in between. This will be the 18th Knitalong that I have hosted over the past 15 years. And it's kind of like our Super Bowl around here at Collage. We work on these designs and the video tutorials for months and months leading up to this event. We really give it everything we've got to make it an awesome, impact-filled event for all of you. Together, we'll be knitting 8 designs over the course of a 6-week time frame. Along with a rough knitting schedule, you'll get access to a video course on how to knit each of these designs from start to finish. Along with that, we'll have 3 coaching Zooms every week of the Knitalong with either myself or one of the Knit Collage expert coaches. My experience has taught me that the key to success is not just about learning new techniques, but also about being surrounded by a supportive environment and expert guides. Within our Knitalong experience, our coaches and community, not to mention those detailed video tutorials, are all there with one goal in mind: to help you get to that coveted finished object, or like we call it in the knitting world, the coveted FO. Through these Knitalongs, I have seen firsthand the incredible transformation that happens when knitters are given the right tools and guidance and support. I'm excited to share this approach with you so that you can elevate your knitting journey and experience some of the incredible benefits that I felt along the way that come from a consistent making practice and finishing more projects. So today I would love to go deeper with you into each of our unique yarns and all of the 8 designs. So we're going to go deep and talk about each one. As part of this Knitalong experience, you'll get a video course on how to knit each of these from start to finish. I really focus on simple video tutorials that are small and bite-sized chunks, and they are yours forever. For many past participants, this is their favorite part of the Knitalong and what helps them learn any new and elusive techniques. But before we move on to talk about each design and the yarns, I want to share about the power of these community learning and making events from a few of our past participants. So just 2. So first up, let's meet Mary, who joined in our last spring Knitalong. Thank you for this wonderful experience. This was my 4th knit-along, and they get better and better each time. The accessibility of the help, the wonderful welcoming community, and the yarns, yummy, all make for such a special experience. Most of all, the video courses are priceless, allowing clear and precise instructions that make what seems complicated totally manageable. I also have to thank you for the app. It made the sense of community feels so real, joyous, and accessible. The love and support from all the members was great and immediate. And to see the level of creativity of the knitters was just outstanding and inspiring. Thank you for this glorious opportunity. And this is from Eileen, who joined in our Dreamweaver Pillow Challenge, which is just like a mini knit-along about a year ago. I'm the person who hadn't knit in almost 20 years and decided to re-enter the knitting scene with an entrelac pillow. At best, I was an advanced beginner when I stopped knitting. Entrelac wasn't even on my radar. I want you to know that this Dreamweaver pillow experience with you and the Knit Collage team was fabulous. It has energized me to knit again and to knit with joy. In the past, I was often frustrated because I didn't know how to do a stitch or technique, and I had to go through seemingly a gazillion YouTube videos until I found the right one for me. Or I had to wait until I could go see one of my friends who knits so they could help me. Your videos are great. It is easy to see how you are knitting a stitch, and your explanations are easy to understand. I've watched some of those videos many times. I loved the community too. I posted pictures of my progress a few times. People were so encouraging, even if it was only to say how much they liked my color combination. It was the same on the Zooms. On the first or second Zoom, after people showed their finished or almost finished pillows, I put myself out there to show my barely started pillow, just the front, and I felt the love whenever I shared my progress, even though I was behind many of the other knitters. With all of the support and encouragement, I never once felt like I couldn't finish the pillow. I never once felt discouraged. Thank you for getting me back into knitting. I am truly grateful. All right, so let's talk about our yarns. If you haven't ever come across a knit collage yarn, they are super unique and different. When I first got into this business, I had this dream of creating yarns that combined all sorts of different materials into one, and that's sort of how it all began. So we work with a team of 18 women in the Punjab area of India that make our yarns. So many of them are hand spun, not all of them, but many of them are hand spun, and many of them have trims spun right into them, like ribbons, fabrics, sequins, daisies, and so much more. They are so unique. So this is how the process works. We start by carding the fiber. So the fibers are carded by hand on a hand carder, and you can think of this step of the process like mixing your paint colors. It's really fun, and because we're making it all by hand, we can do anything we want with the fiber colors. Really fun. From there, another few women are working on creating trim bundles. So many of the trims are made by hand, or they're threaded by hand onto thread to then go to the spinner. So we make a little packet of trims that go into each of the yarns that have the trims, and then the hand spinner will take the carded fiber and the trims and combine them into a yarn. So our daisy chain yarns are made like this, and our dreamland yarns are made like this, all the ones with all the trims in them. And from there, they are steamed and checked for quality control and packaged up and sent to us. That is how our process works. So I'd love to dive into each design now, each of the 8 designs, starting with the one I am wearing, the Awesome Blossom, that has this big, beautiful flower on the back. So this yarn that we use for this pattern is our Serenity. It is a brushed boucle, so this one is actually machine made. It's very lightweight and airy, and it has this sort of like brushed texture, and it's 80% wool, 20% nylon. So that's what we use for the body of our sweater. And then for the flower and the stripes that you see on my sleeve, we use our brand new mixtape yarn. So this is about 6 months old. We just brought it out into the world, and it is a combination actually of many of our yarns in one. And it's self-striping, so it creates different stripes as you knit it. And it's just a really happy yarn. Each colorway is a little bit different and unique. So let's dive into this sweater. When we knit this sweater, we will be learning, maybe for you, lots of new techniques. So I will be teaching intarsia. That is the technique we use to knit that beautiful flower on the back of the sweater. The flower is going to be in the mixtape yarn. And then we will also be learning in this design how to knit a sweater top down, how to add patch pockets, how to do I-cord ties, striped sleeves, and I think that's everything. It is going to be so much fun. I love this design so much, and partially because I am one of the designers of it, along with Sue Hislop. I adore it. Okay, let's move on. So the next design is the Rodeo Vest. This is another one that I designed along with Sue Hislop, and there's lots of options for this one. But let's dive into the yarn options for the mixed yarn version. This is the one I am wearing right now. So first up, you will use one colorway of our Spun Cloud yarn. This yarn is chock full of texture, and it comes in these giant skeins. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. It's plied with 2 strands of lurex, 1 silver and 1 gold. And I think we have it in something like 27 different colors. It's so pretty and fun. And then if you decide you want to go with the mixed version, you will be mixing in some mini skein kits. So you will need a mini skein kit in our Wildflower yarn, which is our screen printed fabric yarn. So you'll get 5 different colorways of that in one mini skein. And then you'll also need a mini skein sampler kit that uses 5 different skeins of yarn. So you'll get all 5 of these in one kit. So you get Dreamland, Daisy Chain, Castaway, Spun Cloud, and Wildflower all in one of these mini skein sampler kits. So it's really fun because it allows for you to really play with yarn and texture and color, which is one of my most favorite things to do as a creative person and a knitter. So these are just a few of the color examples, but it's also a really fun way, if this design is calling to you, to try out lots of our different yarns in one go. So that is the mixed yarn version. Now, of course, you could choose to knit this solid too, and then you would just be using one colorway of our Spun Cloud yarn. All right, let's hop to what you can expect to learn in this design. You are going to learn how to knit a top-down vest. It is a very simple knit. How to change colors throughout if you're doing this pattern like I am with all different yarns. Of course, you can knit it solid as well. We're going to learn how to knit the pockets. These are knit-in pockets, super cool technique to learn. And then we'll be teaching how to do the shawl collar, the rib shawl collar, which is done with short rows. Now, the shawl collar is completely optional too. You could decide just to do a regular V-neck, like some of the pictures I've shown here, and that's super cool too. I'll show you how to do both options as part of this video course. The next design is the With the Band sweater by designer Jen Geigley. I could not love this one anymore, and I'm so excited that it's in the mix for this knit along. So this pattern calls for 2 skeins of our Spun Cloud yarn, and we've put together a lot of different options for you. And I have a blog post accompanying this video that goes into all the details about these designs and the fit, the pricing, and the available color combos if you want to peruse that. It will be included in the link below or in the show notes below. All right, so there's 2 colors you get to choose from, and we've put together kits that are super contrast, like the one I'm wearing, or more tonal. There's so many directions you can go with this one, and I'm so excited to see these come to life. Now, this sweater is a very, very beginner-friendly sweater. So if you're newer to knitting, this could be the ideal sweater to jump in and make your first sweater with. It is top down. It is a raglan pattern. So we will be increasing along those raglan lines and knitting from top to bottom. And you'll have that video course on exactly how to knit, as well as the coaching support if you have questions along the way. So that is the With the Band sweater. Okay, so the next design is the Cozy Cabin Pillow. This is another one that I worked on a little bit alongside Sue Hislop and the designer of the log cabin sweater, Laurel Gervitz. It is a log cabin pillow where you will learn the log cabin knitting technique. It's a modular form of knitting where you do not seam, you just rotate your work and you keep adding on new blocks of yarn and knitting. It is so, so fun and so cool to learn. Once you learn it, it's like there's no going back. So this is that pillow. We do the more advanced technique, the log cabin on the front, and then the back is just stockinette knitting. It's super simple. So there's a mix of a little bit more challenging and then a little bit easier. And of course, it doesn't matter which way you face the pillow forward. You could rotate it depending on how you're feeling. Let's talk about the yarns involved. So this yarn is another one where you really get to combine all different yarns together. So you will need one main color. This is our Spun Cloud. I already showed you this one. That's main color 1. Main color 2 is going to be our Daisy chain yarn that has all these beautiful flowers in it. And this is a new color coming for fall. And then our mini skein sampler kit that I showed you already for the Rodeo Vest. So you'll have 5 different colors, and this will be the 5 different contrast colors that make up the different blocks of the Cozy Companion pillow, and then any scraps of them that you have left over you can use on the back side to knit into the stripes you feel called to knit. So that's the Cozy Cabin pillow. So fun. All right, so now we're moving on to the greatest hits. Those were our 4 winners of the Fall Knitalong Design Survey, and these are the 4 winners that are, I'm thinking of them as our bonuses or our greatest hits. Designs we're bringing back from seasons past and putting a fresh new twist on them. So let's start with the Enchanted Forest. That's what I'm wearing. I love this one. This is by designer Cheryl Kubat. It is simple color work, so you can expect to learn color work if that's new to you. And it is bottom-up construction. It is so gorgeous. Very simple, so a great one to learn color work on. It's a pretty big needle too. So the yarn that you'll be using is our Serenity yarn. I showed you this as part of the Awesome Blossom, but you'll be using it in 3 different colorways. So one for your main color, one for the color behind the snowflakes, and then one for your snowflake color. This year, we have updated the pattern to have 2 neck options. So originally it had this big oversized cowl neck, and that's still definitely in the pattern. But now you're going to have a smaller turtleneck option too, like the sample I'm wearing. So totally up to you to decide what you want to make. You can go for more dramatic cowl, or you can go for a little bit slimmer turtleneck option like mine. The call is yours. All right, next up is the Willow Cardi by Laurel Gervitz. This is such a beautiful one. It's from the Fall 2023 Knitalong, and it was one of the best-selling designs back in fall of 2023. I just couldn't love it anymore. These are the yarns that you'll use. You'll use the Serenity yarn that I've already showed you in one color, and then you'll use our Spun Cloud Light in a few different colorways to create this beautiful statement stripe. So what will you learn in this design? You're going to learn a lot. This is a beautiful feather and fan construction knit side to side. So you'll notice that the body would normally be knit like bottom to top or top down, and it's actually knit sideways. So there's no armhole seam. The sleeves are continuous with the body, which just makes the whole construction so cool and unique. And the video course is super helpful for this one because it'll guide you through every step of this pattern. So that's the Willow Cardi. All right, so the next design is the Flow State Cardi. This is from our spring 2025 knit-along, and we're bringing it back this fall. It was a hit from the spring, and I just felt like there was more that we could do with all the needle felting. So I wanted to bring it back and keep exploring this needle felting idea. So let's dive into the yarn first. The yarn is our Spun Cloud light yarn. So just a lighter weight version, simple, slubby texture of our signature Spun Cloud yarn. And then you will need a needle felting kit. We now have these available on our site. And this is where you can think of just embellishing your project, your cardigan, however you like with fiber and needle felting. So I've gone ahead and added all of these designs to my sweater. I'll add some pictures here. This is the one I made as part of that knit-along. I even want to add more. It was so much fun to make. And really you can go in any direction. So in this design, we knit a simple top-down, top-to-bottom raglan, very beginner-friendly sweater. And then from there, you add on the needle felting. And I show you how to do the needle felting as part of the video course. And you get a guide, a huge PDF guide on how to do needle felting exactly like my original sample, which is in the pictures here. But the idea is for it really to just be a jumping off point for your own creativity to run wild. If you want to add butterflies like me, or your name, or moon and stars, whatever you want, the world is your oyster with this one. And I think that's why I am so into it. And I was so excited to see it in the running for our greatest hits. So this is the Flow State Cardi. Lastly is the Daisy Pillow. I don't have the sample, so I'm going to insert pictures of it here and share about this one right now. So in this design, you will be working from the center of the flower pillow out, and it's circular knitting. It's a very interesting technique. So you use slip stitches to create the shaping that creates that outline of that daisy shape. It's so ingenious, and the designer Julie Robinson did such an amazing job with it. So that's the Daisy Pillow. You will need either 2 colors of our Spun Cloud yarn or 2 colors of our sister yarn in contrasting colors to complete this. And that's the Daisy Pillow. So now we're going to switch over to my computer because I want to take you inside our app space and give you an idea of what it looks like to be a student within one of our knit-alongs. I'm going to show you and give you an example using the Enchanted Forest sweater that I taught last fall. Let's hop to it. All right, so here's an example of what our classes look like inside our Knit Collage app. So you can see here on the left-hand navigation bar, I have all of the videos that pertain to the Enchanted Forest design. So each of the designs that's included in the knit-along will have a video course just like this. So we've got the first one that's on fit and sizing, and then one on materials, how to read the pattern, pattern construction, and so on. I have so many videos for this one. We go through it all in really small bite-sized chunks. So let's click into one of these and see what it looks like. There you go. So you can see I'm going through the pattern step by step with you. I'm not going to hit play on this to disrupt our video, but there you go. There is an idea. Let's go over to the collar and I'll show you what that one looks like. There we go. So we have everything related to this design all in one place, broken down into bite-sized chunks for you to follow as your guide throughout this knit-along, and then the video course is yours forever. All right, that's that. Okay, so along with this video, I have a blog post accompanying it where I go into the fit details, all the color options, and the pricing details so that you can see in more detail and plan out which project you might want to make accordingly. So definitely check that out. If you already have yarn or want to join from somewhere where it's kind of tricky to ship to, I hope you'll consider joining us virtually. So we spent a bunch of time earlier before I dove into the designs talking about how being part of a supportive community can transform your knitting journey. And you might be wondering, what comes next? When does this whole knit-along thing start? So in the next video coming out in a few days, I am going to share all about how to get involved. I'm also going to talk a lot about the creativity self-care events that I interject into each of these knit-alongs. It's for you to partake in and embrace, but it's completely non-preachy, and if it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to. Within that video, I'm also going to share some stories of fellow knitters who have experienced remarkable changes, not just in their knitting skills, but also in their overall well-being and creativity. You'll get a glimpse into the joy and satisfaction that comes from being part of a community that lifts you up and helps you achieve your knitting dreams and helps you finish more projects that you love. Finally, I'm going to share exactly how to join us and get involved. But before we wrap up for today, I would love to know, out of all those 8 designs that I showed you, what's calling to you? Is there 1? Is there 2? Will you be knitting 4 with me because I'm the teacher and I've got to teach 4? I would love to hear which yarns, which colors. If you need help with sizing, please leave me a comment or send me a DM. I'd love to help you figure out the sizing that works best for your body too. And feel free to ask me any other questions in the comments or DMs as well. I am super excited to kick things off so soon. Bye!